Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We are so excited with this for this webinar because we're joined by, as you will see, Laura is here with us. She's not only a customer of ours, but I like to say she's the queen of Halloween. She plans so many Halloween campaigns, so she's the perfect person to talk to us about holiday planning today because it just hit me as we were looking at these slides that starting pretty much now till the end of the year, there are so many different holidays. Like there's Halloween, Thanksgiving, Black Friday's in there, Christmas. There's so much going on. So it's just perfect timing to talk about how to go about it. So we're very excited. But speaking of holidays, let me know in the chat what your favorite holiday is. I feel like everyone has such different opinions. So let me know in the chat what your favorite holiday is.
I love how everyone's feeling very demure and very mindful today. You know, being mindful of why we're hosting this webinar.
So mindful. We are so mindful about it all. Oh, a lot of Halloween lovers.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Halloweens, but of course, any favorite holiday is accepted. It doesn't just have to be Halloween, but I love like-minded individuals in the chat. Loving it.
Love it. Lyle, I agree with your comment. Love the time off in December. Love that. Awesome. Well, keep sharing what your favorite holiday is and let us know. And also let us know what industry you're in because that's also really interesting because I feel like different industries can promote like different holidays. It really depends what your niche is. So let us know in the chat, favorite holiday and what industry you're in. And we will get started. All right. So if this is your first webinar with us, welcome. And if this is your 100th, we're so excited that you're here. But we're going to do a quick round of intros just in case this is your first. So my name is Alyssa and I'm a community manager here at HeyOrca. So I work on our webinars, newsletter, Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. And I'll pass it over to Ketsia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ketsia, and I'm the social media community manager here at HeyOrca, and I do everything related to socials. But this is my last webinar, and tomorrow is my last day here at HeyOrca, which is a little bit bittersweet. I know, but I had so much fun hosting as many webinars as I did, like every single week with you guys. And thank you so much for having me and for letting me co-host with Alyssa for so long. So thank you guys so much. But I'm going to pass it over to Laura.
Well, I feel like following that bittersweet moment up is going to be so tough. Well, it's good to have you here. I'm excited that you're at least a part of this webinar that I'm joining with HeyOrca. My name is Laura, and I'm the communications director of FearWorm, and of course, a loyal, happy client of HeyOrca. So very happy to be here. And we're talking holidays. FearWorm is an advertising agency that specializes in Halloween and haunted houses. So of course, that's only one holiday. So we'll maybe touch on, some content regarding that, but really excited to kind of, show you guys a peek behind the curtain of maybe how we do things at FearWorm and hopefully inspire you guys today because it's time to start planning for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. When we had this topic in our list of topics, immediately I'm like, we have to have Laura on because she is just the queen of holiday planning. So we're so excited to have you. And we put Laura's LinkedIn and the website to FearWorm in the chat. So definitely check her out and connect with her. And before we hop into everything, we love giveaways. So there's 2 ways to win today. So head over to our LinkedIn page. We have a poll going on right now. Vote on that poll. And I will be randomly selecting someone who voted on the poll at noon tomorrow. And you will be receiving an Amazon gift card. And then the second way to win, you actually have a little bit more time for this one. So let us know what you learned in this webinar today on LinkedIn. Tag us, and I will be choosing a winner for that Amazon gift card Tuesday at noon. So you have a few days for this one, which I love because for me, it takes me a while to write a LinkedIn post. So you have till Tuesday, and I'm just going to give you a little help here. There's a lot of awesome slides to screenshot that Laura has created. So that will help with the contest. So definitely let us know what you learned today. And then before we hop into it, I also want to mention, if you're a HeyOrca customer, we just launched LinkedIn PDFs today, which is a big deal because that's been a request we've gotten so many times. So if you're a HeyOrca customer, next time you make a LinkedIn post in HeyOrca, you can now add a PDF. So we're very excited about that.
For this, for example, if you want to make a post for your giveaway, use LinkedIn PDF
Test
for the first
out.
time.
Love that. It just works perfectly. Awesome. Well, that is all for the intros. I'm going to pass it over to Laura because she has so many good things to go over today. So I will pass it over to her.
Thank you so much. Well, this presentation today really just kind of breaks down into a few spots, but of course we're talking holidays. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the holiday industry right now. Just to kind of give everyone an up to speed kind of brief where that is concerned. We're going to talk a little bit about how we should start planning, or even when, when is a good time to start planning this stuff, because Q4 is right here, right? And we're going to look at a little bit of the FearWorm process. So I have kind of that peek behind the curtain that I mentioned for you guys today, and then just some tips and different notes and things that I kind of threw in there. And I put here, yes, there's even a chat GPT prompt. So for any AI girlies in here or anybody interested in that, you'll have something to look forward to.
We love a chat GPT prompt.
Yes. So let's go to the next slide. It's not moving for me. There we go. So what's going on right now in the holiday industry? As far as we're concerned and what we've been watching for the last few years, to start with, Halloween is at an all-time high when it comes to spending, which is super great. I'm sure all of you guys are aware of kind of economic struggles and different things that you and maybe even your target markets are going through right now. So to see the fact that people are still treating themselves has been good. Halloween right now is a $12 billion business. And yes, in the chat, I can see Jennifer. She says, it's because Halloween is awesome. I can agree. So it's a $12 billion business, and it's actually growing from there. So, Michaels even put out their Halloween decorations in June this year, which is super great for my birthday. But it is definitely, people are wanting that stuff sooner, and that's always a good sign. And it's a great sign for how people are feeling about the holidays in general. So
I was just going to say, I feel like every year for every holiday, like Halloween, Christmas, Easter, everything's coming out a little bit earlier and earlier every year.
It is.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah, it is coming earlier too. And well, one of those things, it's funny in the haunt industry, where FearWorm is based out of, there's actually a little bit of animosity between the Christmas decorations coming out before Halloween. Everyone kind of gets upset about that and starts feeling some type of way. But it's always good to know, how your audience feels about things, right? That really helps you connect with them. So some trends that we're seeing right now along this trend of celebrating things sooner. Hashtag halfway to Halloween. Has anyone in the chat let me know? Have you guys discovered any halfway to Halloween stuff. They're doing more of that at Disney parks and things like that. So we are definitely more aware of that. And then #Summerween. Are there any Gravity Falls fans in the chat? Do you guys know where that came from? But you probably did see at least some of these, jack-o'-lantern carved watermelons and things that were hitting TikTok. That's always exciting for especially us to see, because when what we call normies, or the people that maybe don't celebrate Halloween year round, when the people that we want to reach to get them to go to haunted houses and stuff, when they start talking about Halloween sooner, oh, naturally, that works so well for us. So we're seeing people, and it's not just Halloween, even it's other holidays, right? People are just really looking for a reason to celebrate. They're looking for a cause to have those good feels, to, not think about whatever their bills are that they have to pay, and maybe treat themselves to a little jack-o'-lantern carved watermelon. Why not? We'll love it. I'm behind it for sure. So just to take a look at Summerween, #Summerween, I used a tool called Brand Mentions, and I just looked at this within the last few days. So within the last 7 days, there was 3 million reach, with people still talking about Summerween. To me, right now, I definitely am seeing a trend and a shift where people are really looking forward to fall. Yes, it's still summertime. Yes, it depending on where you are right now. I'm in Texas. It definitely does not feel like the fall around here. It is hot, okay? It is still triple digits hot here in Texas. But people are we're ready for the pumpkin spice. We're ready for those lattes that we enjoy. And so people, your markets, maybe even some of your target market, they're definitely interested and looking forward to the holidays.
It's so interesting to see how, we want summer, especially us in Canada. We're like summer, summer, summer. And then we get there and it's like midsummer and we're like, I could go for like a nice fall drink. I could walk in the leaves. Like, it's funny how soon we do start thinking about these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm seeing Bratween. I don't know if you guys are noticing my neon glasses today, but I'm in on the Brat stuff for sure.
Love it.
Okay, so when is a good time to start planning holiday content? You guys, let me know in the chat right now, how early do you start planning social media content anyways? Like, how ahead are you? Are you looking at, is it 4 weeks? Is it 6 weeks? 8 weeks? Do we have anybody that's that ahead? But at this point for FearWorm, August is a huge planning month for us, because we don't want to start too early to where we're missing out on some of the trends, or maybe how the audiences are going to be feeling about certain types of things with certain messages. But there are content pieces that you can get ahead, and maybe you already have some of that scheduled and locked and loaded in HeyOrca. So let me know. It looks like Britt here says 2 to 4 weeks. But yes. So right now is a great time to start planning your holiday stuff. To me, August is that time. It is, we're just in the mix of it right now. At FearWorm, all of our haunted houses are about to open. We've got haunts that are opening as early as September 6th. We've got some haunts that, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a Friday the 13th in September. So that's another, it's probably not the same celebrated holiday as like a Christmas or something, but Friday the 13th is, to some people, a holiday. And we have one of those next month. So that stuff is coming up, and it's, fair to pay attention. So right now is the time to plan. So this kind of breaks it down: August, September, October, November, December. This is really what we're looking at right now. Although in a few slides, I do kind of open up the door for some January stuff. But right now is the time to plan. Now, FearWorm, we're planning our holiday content and everything for our haunt clients. we're going to plan through November. We've even got some haunts that are open in November, past Halloween, doing some cool stuff. So it's a little bit different for us. So I also put on here for normies, you know, for your October, planning that in September is fine. You know, being 4 weeks ahead is still okay. Are there some social media managers that might be a little further ahead or something? Sure. But listen, social media happens all the time. And if you're going to be present with your communities and stuff like that, you know, being too far ahead, I think, can also be something where you're shooting yourself in the foot. You might be missing something. You might not be paying attention to your communities well enough, because you're using that time to kind of get that content cranked out. So it's really kind of tough for us, I think, in the social world, because our content, I mean, it never stops. Social media never stops. And so you gotta be careful at how far you push yourself too, I think, to just be ahead all the time. But anyways, I think a month ahead is sufficient. So planning for your November, planning that in October is fine. But with that being said, you know, August is a really important time to look towards those months so that you can be ready. So I'm going to take you guys into just a little behind the scenes, maybe some tools that FearWorm uses. Of course, HeyOrca is a big tool for us that we use and love. So I'm assuming we have that in common with all of you guys. So here is a look at planning for HeyOrca for the holidays. So pre-planning, the very first thing we ever do, and you guys will probably think about this too, and you do it whether you really call it out or not, but you think about people. So the first step for me is always thinking about the people that you're talking to. It's going to be your target market, people that already follow you, the people that you're wanting to reach, your future followers. So what are people right now thinking and feeling? So heading into the holidays, I think it's really important before you guys start planning your content that we think of a few things. So Halloween in June, like we discussed a few slides ago, consumers are really interested in celebrating their holidays sooner. They're buying Halloween products specifically even earlier and earlier. What is that saying about them? They're looking to treat themselves. They're looking to find that something to celebrate sooner, right? And honestly, I can get behind it. So I understand why people think that way. Again, here, Michaels is selling that stuff in June, you know, and when you see big brands like that make moves like that, they're doing it not just frivolously. They're doing it based on data. They're doing it based on what the customers want because they want to do well financially. So it's just important to note, right? The next part of this is, it might be the thing we never want to talk about. It might be the one thing that causes fights at your dinner table or something, but political struggles, okay? Especially here in America, we are definitely in it politically right now. There's a lot of content going this way and that way, and they can be very heated conversations, but it's very important to consider that this is the stuff that not only that you'll be competing against this year in, especially in America, but it's just fair to note that these are the things. Oh yeah, I see Jennifer saying I avoid political discussion. Yeah, avoiding it on content channels and stuff like that. Totally agree. But fair to think about that this is the stuff that's going on right now on social media. It's what people are thinking about that maybe can cause upset, and it's just there. That's probably why we're looking for the good feeling stuff right now. You know, let's find some good stuff to talk about. But also fair to note, there's probably going to be some situations where we may want to pause some content. Ever staying vigilant in that regard, which I know that Joe from HeyOrca is definitely a big fan of, like, hey, let's not be tone deaf, which I've always appreciated about him. So something fair to note. Financial stress also is very important to think about before we head into the holidays. People are definitely going to want to treat themselves, and they're going to want to indulge in the holiday content, but they're going to be very deal conscious this year. They're going to be looking for discounts. They're going to be looking for any information that will help them, you know, save money, or like HeyOrca, you know, is all about saving time, which time is money, you know. So definitely think about the financial stressors that your audience members and people that follow you are going through during this time. So that leads me to the final point here: deal conscious. You know, spending for the holiday seasons, we are definitely seeing that it's up over years prior, you know, 3.1% over compared to 2022 from the reports of 2023. 3% over a large area is I mean, anything in the positive is significant to note. But to me, you know, let's also consider how many layoffs we've had, like inflation. I mean, we're all feeling the pinch, right? So just fair to note about what people are thinking about right now.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, I feel like, especially on social media, it's been such a discussion about deals, you know, like discounts and stuff, and how discounts are not as big as they used to be. Like, for example, they're talking about, hey, like Black Friday, like we used to fight in malls for that 90% off TV, and now we're getting 10% off, and it's not worth, you know, staying up at like 5 a.m. or lining up at 5 a.m. anymore. And I feel like that's been like a big discussion. So I think it's so interesting that it's also into your strategy. Like, hey, this year we're noticing XYZ, especially when it comes to deals and stuff. And it's been such a conversation.
Yes. And you know what? That's such a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's definitely a sentiment that we've had kind of internally as well. We've got clients coming to us and they're offering $5 off or something like that. And they're coming to the table talking to their marketing team, and we're the step in between our clients and the people. And so sometimes I feel like I have to be the voice of the people. And I've told several of my clients this year, $5 is not doing it. $5 discount this year is not moving the needle. So please exit the conversation and come back to me when you've got something good, right? So I feel like I'm doing the work of the people a little bit this season, but to me, think about that. Your consumers, I mean, they are feeling the pinch, they're feeling the heat. If you want something to move the needle, let's definitely think about what the sentiments are like. Just think about yourself too and what you think. And, you know, I have to be, I'm basically in the same area, I think, with you, Ketsia, is where it's like Black Friday just was not doing it. So let's listen to the people and give them something great. And that's going to be where you see the results. People are not looking at like 10% off or 15% off. Like, we've been writing a lot of content right now for SMS deals, trying to get people to sign up for SMS. Listen, if you're going to give your text message number, if you're going to give your phone number up, you're going to want something significant for that, right? I mean, you just gotta think about that. And some of these brands, like, this is why they hire marketing agencies, though, you know, so that we can be the voice of reason. Don't shoot yourself short. Like, you're the professional in this zone, right? I think I skipped this a little too fast. So the second part of our process is absolutely we're thinking about people. Now we're just reviewing our content buckets. So this is something that I put together in Canva. Do we have any Canva people in the house? Like, let me know if you're avid Canva users. We use Adobe too, but we definitely are Canva fans at FearWorm. So our content buckets, if you do a little whiteboard, you can kind of create these notes. And I also am a super huge sticky note fan. So the aestheticness of this is aestheticking for me. But I kind of went through just mentally and started creating notes. And I'm like, if it's content that we've published to FearWorm, it became a note here. And then I started finding that there were certain notes that were similar. So, you know, there was definitely a commonality between certain things. Well, then I turned the color of those pieces the same color. So then I started having, content that was more education forward. I started turning that blue. And so then I realized how education forward FearWorm is. I mean, I did know that as one of our core guidelines, but sometimes when you're working in social, and especially a brand that does social for other people, social for us takes a back seat sometimes. We're always doing for our clients. So the next thing that I did in all of this is I wanted to get a refresher and just look at my content buckets all in all and see what we have. And it's super easy to add them too. If you do a whiteboard like this, you can organize them. So you can see like marketing and advertising education became a huge pillar for FearWorm. Something I'm calling the FearWorm effect. So that's like logo glow ups and website glow ups and things like that we end up having after doing service work for clients. That kind of became a session. So basically, this is what we all come back to. And I think sometimes we create content, maybe we'll just jump to it quickly and create content for ourselves, for our own brand. But trying to just stop a minute and look at everything as a whole is so helpful because it gives you that idea of the types of channels of content that you create. So as you move into the holidays, we look back and maybe it's not just a happy Halloween post that we do. Maybe it's something that's a little bit more sentimental, or maybe it's something that's delivering value to our audience that becomes the happy Halloween post. You have to really stop and think about these things. So hopefully this inspires you guys today to jump into Canva if you have it and create a whiteboard and get your content buckets in order, and make it visual, especially for all of us creators. We're definitely very visual people. So I know this helped me so much. So after we look at the content buckets and really review them, the reality of it too, not just like what we hope to post, like what we're really in there posting weekly. We review calendars and holiday happenings. So this is where I'm actually looking ahead, and I've got a couple resources that we pull up just online, and we look and see what's coming. Okay, I know Halloween is coming, and I know there's a Friday the 13th, and I know those things, but what else? Like, what else is coming up? So here are a couple websites that I use for holiday research. And if you guys have great resources that you use too, because trust me, we're all in these trenches together. Let me know what you guys use for your calendar research and your special days of the year and everything. But the ones that I use the most are Days of the Year and then holidayscalendar.com. Holidayscalendar2.com is really good because it'll actually show you some historical events that come up as well, which depending on who you're talking to and what brands you're doing social media for, that could be a useful tool for you. But what I love about these is they'll tell you the why behind the holiday. They'll give you any specific hashtags that might be related to the holiday as well. And it kind of does a little bit more of the research for you all in one place, which I love. Yes, Alyssa. Yeah, the why. That's definitely a big thing with the holidays. Because, I mean, I want to know why people are celebrating National Burger Day. Well, I don't know. Burgers, probably. So pre-planning. This is a little holiday track. I have looked ahead even all the way to January and just kind of found some fun holidays. Obviously, these are not all going to be huge, big deals. Like there's some funny ones on here too. But there's a few that might resonate with your audience. Like if you look on November 2024, that's the purple one, look down on the 6th, National Stress Awareness Day. It's somebody in the chat, and I apologize, I don't remember who it was, but they said they work in the industry of injectables. Well, for me, when I think about people wanting to do, you know, self-care in that way, and like the beauty industry and stuff like that, they're going to be concerned about stress. That's for sure, because stress and the signs of aging, that pretty much hits the gas pedal on that one, right? So this is kind of where we look ahead and look at different things, and we try to think, okay, does any of this resonate with any of our specific brands? Does any of this resonate with the people we're talking to? You know, is this something that we need to think about? I love how New Year's Day was also listed as Hangover Day. Just wanted to call that one out. You know, I can see the why behind that one without even reading that paragraph. There's also another funny one on here, and I'm wondering if anyone is ever even going to call it out, but I have to call it out myself. So December 10th is the Festival for the Souls of Dead Whales.
That is
not
such an interesting one.
I was going to say, not Oscar's cousins.
Let's all take a moment of silence for Oscar's cousins, y'all. What is going on with them?
That's one I need to look up the why for. Like, why?
Yes. Well,
exactly.
Definitely use one of my resources there and discover the why behind that, because I am also curious. But anyways, we look forward, and so this has got a little holiday track for you guys looking forward. Yes, R.I.P. Oscar's cousins. Let's see. Someone says they like December 18th. Answer the telephone like Buddy the Elf Day. I like that one too. So, you know, there's definitely more holidays than just your Halloween, than just your Thanksgiving and stuff. And so many things that might cross a stream with your brand, and it might be fun to talk about. Does your brand, to me, I love personable brands. Like, I love brands that feel like a person. And, you know, when you've got a person, that person loves a holiday. So which holidays does your brand love? Or the brands that you create content for? Like, what are their favorite holidays? This is fair to think about, I think, as we head into Q4. Okay, so what's my next step? We basically jumped to HeyOrca at that point, and we're blocking out our holidays as event markers or event tags in HeyOrca. How many people in here use events in HeyOrca, and what do you use them for? I'm curious, because I'm sure there's different answers for that. You know, different social media managers are gonna love that part of HeyOrca, and maybe they have a different use for it. But let us know. I actually like events, and I use it to mark holidays. We color code them. We'll even like if we're counting down to something, those are always green in my calendar. So let me know if you're color coding people too, and if you guys have a system. I'd love to hear about that. So when it comes to getting into HeyOrca and marking these holidays as event tags, I did a little screenshot here. You can see the orange ones there in that screenshot, just marking. Actually, what I'm considering a holiday for September is the release of the brand new Beetlejuice movie, Beetlejuice, because just personally, I'm a big fan of that movie, but also it ties into Halloween. That is a cult classic movie. Lots of fans of it. So we've been marking that in our HeyOrca calendars, because our haunted house clients, this is going to be something fair for them to take note as a holiday, fair for them to take note for creating content. Great to be aware that people that may go to a haunted house later on in a few weeks after this point, you know, when the haunts open, they probably bought a ticket to see Beetlejuice. And there probably are some people that went to go see Beetlejuice that maybe have never been to a haunted house. And we want to find those people, right? And entice them to buy a ticket. So as part of the holiday planning for haunted houses, we look at a lot of movie releases. So I even have a little spreadsheet here you can see. of horror movie and cult classic movie releases. So I've got Beetlejuice highlighted there. So what we did is I've started creating content that is custom and specifically related, or basically like a vibe of Beetlejuice, but still under the same umbrella of whatever brand we're creating for. So the one that I've highlighted here to share with you guys, this is for a haunted house that's in the Chicago market. It's called Realm of Terror. And they have this crazy devil looking guy, but in the folder of photos that this client sent over to create, they always send us content, but I was scrolling through all the photos and I saw this guy with his mouth wide open. So I decided that I wanted to put a beetle in it. Alyssa, can we hit play on this one? Can we play the video? I want you guys to see this.
I think because it is a PDF, we can't, but I'll grab the link to it and I'll put it in the chat for everybody.
Okay. So you guys have to see this because I animated this personally in Canva, and the little beetle like goes straight into the guy's mouth. So for any Beetlejuice fans, I mean, you know that Beetle is pretty much spot on when it comes to even just the name of the movie, but spooky, right? And saying things 3 times. So rot, rot, rot. So Realm of Terror is where we got rot. They call the haunt rot. And then our post copy on this is enjoy your beetle breakfast. So this is just a way for us to celebrate the release of Beetlejuice as a holiday, but to do a little haunted content branded for Realm of Terror, to do something a little bit creative. So it's inspired by it, but it's not spot on. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of spot on. But anyways, this is something fun. It gives us an opportunity to have a holiday conversation. I realize I'm calling a movie release a holiday, but it really is. For
you know what? You know what? I agree. I think I was also wondering, because since it's like a kind of a big and anticipated movie at this point, right? Like from working in entertainment, I used to work for this company that did like events, like pop-up events for like Netflix and all that stuff. And I'm wondering, like, maybe for Beetlejuice, they might also do like pop-ups, and then there's people who might not be able to attend and they might be looking for like haunted houses or like the same experience somewhere else. I don't know, that might be a thing. I hope they do like something big like that, and then, you know, you can go and visit wherever, like a haunted house that's themed by Beetlejuice or something. But
absolutely.
Yeah, so cool.
Well, so they do Beetlejuice themed haunts. I don't know if I have any theme park nerds in here, anybody that loves theme parks, but Universal does Beetlejuice houses. So basically it's through their event called Halloween Horror Nights. I've been through a few of their Beetlejuice haunted houses. They are super, super cool. And they do that event, Halloween Horror Nights, at Universal Studios, both in Florida, so in Orlando, and then they have one in California as well too. I love theme parks, so I definitely am all about that. They were pretty good too, the Beetlejuice houses, but there's so much Beetlejuice stuff all around, and it is breaking the bank over here in my house, y'all. Like, I've already bought my 2025 planner. It's Beetlejuice themed, just letting y'all know. Okay, so Alyssa's going to share the link to this content so you guys can see it later, because I just want everyone to see my amazing animation skills in Canva. All right. So holiday content, one of the last parts before the actual creation of these pieces, we use Asana at FearWorm. Do I have any other Asana fans or Asana users? If you're an organizational person like myself, you're going to love Asana. So we create tasks in Asana for everything so that we can assign them out to whoever is on our team that's going to be creating those pieces. This is just a peek behind the scenes of kind of how we break that down. And then also I had on here the screen cap that shows we add subtasks for the full month of content for social media. And because those subtasks are movable and you can drag and drop them, as we're coming up with ideas for everything that we're going to post in August or everything that we're going to post in September, we'll kind of, as we get through what we call like our kickoff meetings for the full month of social, we'll drag those things around. And before you know it, as you're adding in each of those little tasks, you'll have a plethora of ideas and content to create. So it's good to have these systems and processes so that you can outline it and get that stuff rocking and rolling. So I didn't include the Beetlejuice screen cap here. I'm giving you guys a break. This is from one of our clients that's not even in the Halloween industry. This is from Twin Liquors. They're a liquor brand, liquor store, chain of stores, really big in Austin. So if there's any Austin, Texan people in here, then you guys might know about Twin Liquors. But, you know, some of the holidays that we were looking for when we were planning August for this client last month is, you know, we looked at National Rum Day and we looked at Pinot Noir Day and National Whiskey Sour Day, certain things like that. We look at those as holidays from the Twin Liquors brand. And we create content around that. Definitely go follow Twin Liquors if you guys like that stuff. But basically, we'll do drink videos and all kinds of stuff for different holidays for the alcohol. For the alcohol lovers in the room, there may be some. And then as we kind of come to a close here, ooh, it looks like somebody likes a whiskey sour. That's awesome. Important tips and notes. And these are just a few things. Like, I'm just thinking as a social media manager, somebody that's done holiday content. We do holiday stuff year round, right? But that is really super fall focused. Maybe some tips and tricks that I've just learned across the way. So definitely if you find a TikTok audio, I don't know, if you're like me, you're scrolling TikTok and an audio comes across your screen or your feed and you have a spark maybe that hits you right then. And you think, oh man, I should do a video like this or that. I found that if I was favoriting those audios, I wouldn't go back to them. So I've been trying to either send that video to myself in a text message, just sending it directly to myself so it goes to my computer, or I paste that link to that video in a note. I keep a revolving notes. I'm an Apple person. I know that not everybody is Apple, but I keep a note on my phone and I just drop that stuff in there. So that way when I might be looking for a content idea, I have a resource of all of that stuff, and I don't have to go into the TikTok app for it. I will get lost in TikTok. Don't tell my boss, but if I have to be in TikTok all the time, I don't know how productive I'm going to be. Just saying. So I have noticed this might be preaching to the choir on this one, but filming from the back camera, not the selfie camera. Sometimes that's always a good reminder. But a little trick there is if you're filming in your office, open up your camera on your computer, open up your webcam and use that to be able to see the image of you that's on the screen. So that way you can film with the back camera and get that better resolution. I love that trick. That trick has saved me multiple times because I always want to see how it looks. And you can't do that unless you're doing the selfie camera. So small little trick. And this one, and I put this one in bold because I need this reminder a lot. You have to delegate. You have to delegate if you are going to grow, if you're going to scale anything, if you're going to get more done. You've got to trust people on your team. You've got to trust people that work alongside you, and sometimes letting go of these things can be really, really difficult because I don't know if you're like me, but, I definitely have a high standard for FearWorm content. I have a high standard for all the stuff that we do for our clients. And so it can be super hard. Oh gosh, is the control freak in the room speaking? Because that's probably what's happening right now. But it's a fair reminder that delegating is going to be where you get more done, right? So if there's anything that's on your list that you can trust someone else to do that. I keep a running note on my phone that I pin for content ideas. I also have one for t-shirt design ideas. I don't do a lot of t-shirt designs, but every once in a while I'll just be in a conversation with my friends and it'll be like, oh man, that would make a great t-shirt. So anybody ever needs a t-shirt design idea, I've got a running note of that on my phone. So just don't forget that you can, very quickly, so it doesn't distract you, take that idea, put it down somewhere, put it in a note, put it somewhere. But you don't have to go run and focus and go design that t-shirt right away, or you don't have to go run and go make that content, immediately. Is my ADHD showing? Because I have problems with that, y'all. Canva brand kits. That's another one. I know we've got some people that use Canva. There were some of you in the chat that maybe don't use Canva so much, but Canva Pro has definitely been a huge savior for FearWorm and for our clients. I've been loving setting up these brand kits. They help me keep everything, set up. I can put fonts in there. I can put logos, color palettes. How awesome is that? Photos and everything. And then I can pass off that brand kit to someone else on my team who can then jump in and do some of the creation for me, which is great. And then we also use ChatGPT. I have a really great prompt that you guys can take and use to help you create content to reach your target audience, and maybe even use it for folks for holiday content for any brands that you do stuff for. So here is a list of tools and resources that I use, but also a couple screen caps from this ChatGPT prompt that I used to help me just take a look at our audience. Like you can see it here. I want you to do some research for me. Act as an expert social media marketer. Tell me 10 frustrations, 10 desires, and 10 fears that haunted attraction owners, theme park marketing team members, and family entertainment center operators experience with their attraction or theme park advertising and marketing, and put that content in a table. I don't know if you guys have tried that with ChatGPT, but telling it to organize things is really helpful. And I then took it a step further and did another prompt and had it, basically tell me the frustrations, the desires, and the fears. And then I took each one of those and did a separate prompt, which you'll see at the bottom here, which I said, hey, give me some content ideas for that. So ChatGPT, I don't know. I feel like you can there's some people that probably love it. There's some people that might be afraid of it because it is AI and isn't it supposed to take over the world? I don't know. But if you're a Terminator fan, you're probably terrified of it. But at any rate, I use it as a tool. I use it to get me started. It's just a jump start. It's not the thing that I lean into and copy and paste 100% of, but it definitely is. I kind of treat it like a little assistant. It's nice to have that. And I know HeyOrca has some AI integrated, pieces in it too, and it's always good to see that. So don't be afraid of AI. It can be your friend. So I want to know, do you guys have any questions? I know there might have been some questions that popped up maybe that we missed. Alyssa, did you see?
So when I was going through the chat, I think they've all been answered. And I want to shout out everyone in the chat because a lot of you have been helping each other with each other's questions. And I love seeing that. That's so nice. And so thank you everybody for coming. I feel like I just learned so much from this. Like this was so good. And I can tell the chat loved it as well because it was going the whole time.
Same here.
I'm seeing a question here too. How do we use Discord? That is a great question. So we do use that a little bit for AI, but for the majority of our Discord uses, we use that as team communication. So what we do is we have a server that we have on Discord, and we'll have all of our clients have a conversation, and those are, if you're a Discord user, those are separated by little hashtags. But we have little conversations for each client. And so we can jump in and, you know, let's say somebody from Realm of Terror calls me, or they wanted to tell me that they loved my Beetlejuice video that I made for them. I'll put it in the chat on Discord and just give everybody an update. We use it to pin certain conversations. We share files that way. We share stuff we're working on. We even have channels for brainstorming. So we'll have a social media channel there. We have a creative team channel. And so that way people that work on creative for the agency, or people that are just social media focused, you know, we have these channels that we can jump in, and we keep Discord open all day. That's just kind of like, think of it like the water cooler at the office or something. I mean, it can even be a general kind of, we do have a general channel in Discord, which is really just, you know, anything and everything. You can share a fun TikTok that you ran into. You can talk about, oh, hey, did anybody see this movie or whatever? So it's for communication, and it works really well for FearWorm. We also use it at our sister agency, Red Rock, which is based out of Austin. It's just a great way to keep conversations organized. And the employees really like it because you can share gifts and all kinds of things. And so it ends up being like this way to, I don't know if everyone here is virtual, but FearWorm is a virtual team. We have people all over the country that work for FearWorm. And so Discord kind of just becomes that way to stay connected with your team members and share a funny GIF or something. But then it's also how we coordinate and say, hey, like, I need to get this done, or this is what the client said. So it's just a great communication tool, really, I think, is what we use it for.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's kind of how we use Slack as well. But not to cut this short, but we're 5 minutes over, and we don't want to take everybody's time. But can people reach out to you, like via LinkedIn or something, if they have any questions?
Yes, absolutely. If you guys want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I would actually love to hear about maybe if something inspired you holiday wise, or if you have any questions about Halloween, or, you know, any holidays, really. I'm very accessible. Hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can find me on most social channels it's just at Laura Scares.
Okay,
awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you. And I will say in the recording email that will go tomorrow, I'll link out to the slides as well. So, because I see a couple of people asking about that, we'll link out to that. So you have all the slides, and then I'll also put Laura's LinkedIn in there as well, just in case you need it. So thank you so much, Laura. This was awesome. We have to do this again. You shared so many amazing tips and tricks. So thank you so much. And we'll see everyone next week. We're having a webinar on copywriting for social media ads. So stay tuned for that one next week.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.